How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a wonderful night. It is time to get imaginative. It's time to get animating. It's time to get creative. And today's inspiration is brought to us by Wyeth. And if you're not familiar with his stuff, he's done some amazing illustration, painting work. He's part of the Brandywine group, which you should definitely study all of those. Pyle, Wyeth. I love the Brandywine group. And I mean, they have stretch back to Loomis and Bridgman, and just they all great group of illustrators that really founded what we have now as the formal illustration kind of techniques these days. But yeah, I'll flip through a couple of his illustrations. He's got, you know, master of composition and lighting, and you can tell there's really good understanding of textures there. Great posing, and you can really tell the anatomy is spot on. I just love his stuff. The Treasure Island stuff I've really liked ever since I was little. Especially this one. I wanted to share this one with you. It's got such great dynamic with just using the three colors. You know, he's got the yellow, the black, and the white, but it's got such dynamic feeling to it because of the way that he can illustrate and with the light and the shadows and everything. It's just so solid. And then I got a couple quotes from him as well. If you paint a man leaning over, your own back must ache. And I think it's a great way to simply say that kind of get into your shot or get into your ideas so much that you're acting it out yourself. You know how that character feels or what they're going to do, that you have a good grasp of where you want to go with the shot, and so much that even, you know, that you're making those faces in the mirror, that you're committed to giving whatever it is, that sense of life to it behind it, so much so that it's affecting you personally, and that'll come across in your art a lot better. And then to elevate the little into the great is genius. And for me, I think that kind of alludes to, it's those little subtle nuances that you can put in your shots or in your illustrations or in your paintings that really give things that extra spark of life. Just those extra little expressions, or the little hand movements, or the little weight shifts, or the size, or the breaths, or any of that kind of stuff that you can hide that spark of life into is going to really push your shot even more, or your illustration, or whatever medium. You know, those extra little bits that you can throw in a song, that you know, the little extra guitar solo, or a little extra change in your vocal cords. Can I think of it, what that's called? Like a tremolo kind of in your vocal cords. Let me know down below in the comments below. Anyways, I will link to a bunch of his stuff down below. Definitely check him out. I think he's just a master of his craft, and I've just been a fan of his stuff ever since I was little. Words escape me to try and define how much I love his stuff. That being said, let's get into today's animation. This is a flower rig. It's kind of a fun little rig. It's a free rig you can grab from Creative Crash. We'll be using Maya 2014 today. Just a quick little pitch for what we're going to be doing for the rest of this video. Give ourselves about 48 frames to work with, anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to come up with some creative ideas. I've never used this rig before, so that'll present some challenges as well, and just see how much fun stuff we can come up with. A little bit of over the shoulder, just watch me animate, a little bit of talking through about the creative process, and hopefully you can learn something along the way if you're just starting out, or if you're in the, you know, learning phase. I can maybe impart some knowledge onto you, and if you're way beyond me and you're amazing and you're astounding as an animator, maybe you can at least get inspired to do something new, or get an idea of a different thing you want to try in your animation, or maybe you can it'll help you spark your interest and say, you know what, that's good, but I would have done it this way, and get those creative juices flowing. Beyond any of that, I just want you guys to feel like every day I do these videos so you can feel like there's someone else there with you in the art room, pushing along with you, so you're not alone. Alright, that being said, let's get into today's little shot here. It's a little off-centered, so let's go ahead and center that guy up a little bit more. Actually, let's zero that out. keep it off so that it's fine. Let's create polygon primitives cube. So we have a ground plane to work with. Let's delete that actually. There we go. And let's stretch that out. And let's assign a new material to it. Let's just do a Lambert just so it's gray. Let's turn our grid off there. I think it's floating, so let's get it planted down here. And let's turn everything off except for our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons. Where do we go with polygons? There we go. And then for this one, I was kind of had this kooky idea to do almost kind of like a undead plant or something. So let's see if we can maybe achieve that. So let's plant this on the floor, but in order to do that, we're probably going to have to, let's see, try and get this posing working. I think I'm going to do it so that one's on the ground, that one's up, so raise that up, and bend this so it's nice and flat, and we'll keep that. Let's translate it down a little bit more. And then we'll rotate that up here. And rotate that up. Pull that down. Rotate that down. It would be nicer if those had a better blend to the bend there, but I think we can still do it. Make those flat on there. Yeah, we should be able to get this to be kind of fun here. Do they have a mouth controller for this guy? Let's see. Mouth emotion. Okay. Can you get more of that? Let's do upper lip. mouse alone then. And do they have like a thing with these petals? They do, alright. I don't think we're flat on the ground, so let's make sure we are there. Let's do a little bit here with these ones. Alright, I think we'll be able to do that. Let's go ahead and save our file, save scene as. And I think we're going to want to do kind of a 3/4 angle so we can still get a little bit of that face in, but kind of focus a little more on the body mechanics. And we are using Maya 2014. It's going to just take a second to save here. Let's just call this flower walk. And we'll go ahead and save our file. Continue. And don't forget to save multiple versions and save often. Make sure we just have our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons checked. Let's go ahead and go here. Back to frame 0, and we'll go ahead and set a key there. Wait for it to register everything here. Get it all? Got it. There we go. Okay, now I should be able to continue doing this. Let's go 12 frames forward, push that forward, set that, and we want to go forward with our hips here. Okay, and then we'll set what we have at 12, push that forward, and we'll bring that forward there. Delete that. For some reason we have 48 keyed, so let's go ahead and delete what we have there. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that now. Let's see. Okay, I think we could probably push that forward a little bit more. And then let's take this one, we'll set that, go forward 36, bring that forward. We're just laying down the foundation for this walk, which since we don't have legs, it's just going to be the arm movements and the scoot on the tail or the butt or the stem or whatever we want to call that. Let's go push that forward. I think we could probably do a little bit more. Let's try and see if the distances here are fairly even. I think we're going to want to go a little bit more there, which means we're going to have to pull our hips a little bit more forward. And let's make sure we copy that key over to that one. And we could probably go a little bit further here. Copy that. Just so we get that little bit of spacing difference between the little leaves here, or petals. Set that there. Push that forward a little bit more, but we need to bring those hips forward a little bit as well. Okay, now let's go into Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor, and let's go ahead and check the Translate Z. This is going to be the left to right movement, and we want that to be pretty consistent here. Okay, let's go ahead and check that now. pressing positions in. So we want to make sure that we nail that key and that key in. Let's go to frame 6 and we'll raise it up. And we'll rotate it back. Should be Y. Let's set that. Okay. And we'll clean it up. We'll adjust stuff with those pedals, but I think that'll be kind of the feeling we want there. Set that, set that. Raise it up here. Drag it back. Lean it forward and pull down. So we're definitely going to clean that landing a little bit better, but I think that works for now. Just still trying to lay down the foundation here. We're not going to worry too much about polish yet. Yeah, we'll rotate that back in Y. Lean that forward. And set that there. Lift it up. Rotate it back. Lean it forward. You know what? Let's make sure we land that 48. Make sure that's set in stone. Rotate that back and land it. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch that now. Let's get started here. I'm going to do a little bit of rotate to favor that forward arm there. And rotate to favor that one there. On that one. And that one. And that one. And then we could probably tone that down a little bit. The tricky part that I'm anticipating is trying to get a little bit of movement on that, since we kind of did this like a tail almost, with that, trying to get that movement when that's the main body, it's going to be a little tricky. We're going to have to do some counter animation between this portion and that portion. But I think we can do that. I'm not fairly confident that shouldn't be too taxing to try and do. Let's get that back out, just a little bit of tilt. And let's clean that up as well. Starting to feel like it's beginning to come together, that idea. Okay, let's do a little bit of rotate Y. Let's do rotate Z here. Z there. Z there. Z there. And Z there. And Z there. Offsetting what we had already done in that upper portion. So let's see here. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is go a little bit that way, go a little bit that way. I'm just offsetting the movement for the neck portion from the body so that it's not going crazy. And let's probably tone that down a little bit more. Let's go and watch that now. And let's do a little bit of rotate Y, keep it kind of facing forward. There we just even that movement up a little bit on that rotate Y, so that it's fairly consistent. I feel like that's starting to work pretty well. Okay, let's go ahead and save what we have here. Just Control S, and let's see if we can't do a little bit of up and down here. So rotate down, rotate back, rotate down, rotate back, rotate down, rotate back, rotate down, and rotate back. Okay. And it's just going to be a little bit, it'll give us that little bit of compression in the middle portion of the body to hopefully sell a little bit of the weight there. And then we'll do the opposite here, so that'll rotate forward, which means this will rotate back, and then forward, and then back, and then forward, and back, and forward, and back, and forward. So let's see. Okay, feel like it's not quite there yet. The idea is okay, but it's not quite where we want it yet, so we're going to do a little bit of tweaking and maybe do some of that in the neck as well to offset some of that movement that we have. So that'll be, let's get another neck here. Rotate X, rotate X, rotate X. Let's see here. Okay, let's clean up that here. It's a little bit of bounce. I like the idea behind this one though, it's pretty fun. Okay, let's go ahead and watch that then. And then let's do a little bit of head movement here. Just a little bit of tilt to the head as well. Let's see here. A little bit of bounce there. Let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead and clean that up here a little bit. I do think we want to get some sway in here, so let's try and build that in as well. Get a little bit of side to side if we can in the body there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of that movement, so that it's not just rotation, but it is a little bit of translation. Excuse me, got the hiccups. Okay, let's go ahead and see that. And then let's maybe do a little bit of up and down as well. Up and down. Up and down. think I'm going to delay the up and down about 2 frames. So that the down on the abdomen is a couple frames after the hand contacts for that next move. And if we do that right, that should add a little more weight to it. Let's see. Okay, it's going to save that. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate Z. And this is hopefully going to give us a little bit of movement between the tail. So rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate Z, rotate Z, and zero it out again. Let's see. Zero that out again. Okay, let's see here. Try and get some angle in there. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of offsetting, figuring out a good balance between this. Because it's not rigged the way for a tail, it's rigged the way for like a root or a foot controller. and get it right, and it's going to take a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of playful. We can treat it, get it to work like a tail. Just got to get the right things offset and the right things working. So let's go ahead and see that now. There we go. It's starting to feel a little slippery or slimy there. Just keep tweaking until we get it to where we want it. Let's go and see now. Approach how we do this here. So we want to keep it going forward. Why is this one funky? Looks right. This one looks right. This one looks wrong. There we go. That's what it was. Let's see. There we go. Now it finally feels kind of tailish. Maybe a little bit too much translate X. This one feels still a little bit jerky. Let's see here. like something's a little bit like hits that side a little heavy. Maybe because I have it on the wrong key. Let's watch that. Okay, let's go back into here. I think we want to go this way a little bit more. Switch the rotate Z up on the neck maybe a little bit more. Do the inverse of what we have there. And we had everything working kind of before a little bit better, but we didn't have any animation on the tail, so this is kind of all that counter animation and reanimation we have to do because we wanted to do it. Tone down so we rotate X maybe. Just want to make it feel a little bit smoother. Okay, that was just too much. A little less rotate Y maybe. Kind of like it where it is. Just doing some more, keeping our splines clean, seeing how much we can get out of this. Maybe we'll tone this down just a little bit. Oh, there we go. Translate X has got some extraneous keys in there that weren't smooth. Let's tone down the translate X a little bit more. Let's look at our translate Y's. Those are still okay. Translates. I think I'm going to delete all of that translate Z on there. Okay, let's go ahead and grab the head and let's delay that like 2 frames. Maybe we'll delay the head a frame as well. Let's see. Still just doesn't feel as clean and as smooth as it could be. So I'm just going through and checking and making sure I don't have any extraneous keys that don't need to be there. Just do a little bit of rotate Y on there. See if that can help a little bit here. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm just gonna delete everything I have. Let's go ahead and save the file here. I'm going to delete everything I have on the head and the neck here, because it just feels like there's something janky going on there. So let's go ahead and just do it. Okay, feels a little bit cleaner now. Switch that to looking that way. When you can't figure it out, go ahead and just delete it and simplify. So let's see here. I think it might be that up and down. So let's go ahead and get rid of that right now. Let's see here. Let's see how to translate text here. See if okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Z there. Just trying to keep it straightforward. And zero that out. Let's see here. Just feels like it's still hitting a little too hard. Okay. Let's just tone all that down a little bit more, even it out. Maybe do a little bit more rotate C here to offset. Just like too much movement in there. Let's see here. That's starting to feel a little better. Then let's go ahead and go to the neck again. Let's see here. Let's do the head here. Rotate C, rotate C, rotate C, rotate C, and let's zero that out. Okay. Now let's go ahead and clean that up. Still could probably do a lot more polish on there, but it feels like it's at least somewhat working. Okay. There's the translate Y. I want to actually lift that up a little bit. Lift that up a little bit. Let's go lift that up. Let's go check that now. Okay. Now, let's take what we have there. Down 14. There we go. 24. Hold that. Pull out 36. Okay. Now let's grab all of these and drag them down. So. Put them all at 0. 0 goes out again. Have that hold down. And grab all those and we'll drag them down. And we'll lift them up. And then 4 more frames at 42. Right, 0 all those out. And keep that. Let's go lift it back up here. So. Okay, I think they need to be flat bend, and we'll put it forward a frame, and pedal 4, let's put it back a frame. Let's go ahead and let's push that first one forward a frame. And the last one back a frame. Let's see. And it doesn't really hit till about 18. And this one, give it 24. And we give 2 more frames to land that, I think. Okay, and I'll save that, and then let's get a little bit in those top pedals here. Let's rotate the pedals this way, and then that way, and this way, and then that way, and back again. Let's see. And let's go ahead and save that, continue, and let's maybe do a little bit of bounce to that. So grab all the pedals and we'll pull them back, push them forward, and pull them back. And we'll probably minimize that a little bit more. Push them forward, pull back, push them forward, pull back, and push it forward. Let's see. Okay, and like I said, we're going to minimize that a lot more so it's not so blatant. And we're going to grab everything here and we're going to delay it 1 frame from where it's already at so it doesn't hit at the same time the head does. And then left pedal 2 and right pedal 2, I think we'll delay those 1 more frame. So let's see. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do a little bit of chomp here. Let's go ahead and set that, hold that for a few more frames. Set that, hold that for a few more frames. Set that for a little bit longer. And hold that last one. We're just favoring those positions. Let's do a little bit of motion. So we can have some flex in those corners of the mouth here. Let's do some eyebrows. Let's go and raise those up. Hold that for a few more frames. Goes down. So it doesn't completely lock off there, see? Go a little bit higher. Start pulling it back down. Mouth emotion, lip sync. Let's go. Set that. Delete. Delete. Set that. Just clean up this so it's a little bit better. Couple of frames, we can hold that. And then maybe a little less eyebrows. Those eyebrows are a little too funky for me. Alright, I think that one's pretty fun. So let's go ahead and turn our nerve curves off and let's go look at that. Now let's go ahead and grab this guy and let's scale it back a little bit. Let's scale it to the side a little more. Let's see here. Killer flower. Okay, and let's take a look back at where we started earlier. We were looking at NC Wyeth, and he had a couple of great quotes. If you paint a man leaning over, your own back must ache. So put yourself into your work so much so that your own facial expressions come out, that your energy from yourself goes into your work. Do that. And then to elevate the little into the great is genius. I think that's a great way to look at it. Keep working on all the stuff that you're doing, all the amazing things you guys are creating every day. I hope you guys are getting inspired by these, that you're trying out new stuff. Don't forget that if you try out any sort of animation or any sort of visual arts or anything, go ahead and link it down below so I can see all the amazing stuff you guys are coming up with. Keep being inspired, keep being motivated, keep doing stuff every day. I know you guys can make it. You're awesome. You're amazing. So that being said, we will see you tomorrow for some more animation.